I'm that
Got
girl who
it.
is already blushing about this conversation we're going to be having. But all sincerity, love is love. And Valentine's Day has triggered many people into catching up with themselves and doing a tally. What is my Valentine love life like? And what's going on here? And what is our perceptions and realities and wants and needs for love? And the adult kind, not just, love and lighters. It's about sex and how do we honor ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally. And I'm trying to grow and be mature about our whole body's functions and needs. And this is beautiful because I was going to do, and I am going to be doing a session very soon where I'm channeling, and questions will be posed from the Pleiadian Nectarian Starseed group, where people have wanted to see concepts. So my friend is getting all of those questions together, but I'm just checking in with her to see how she's feeling. And yesterday's conversation that she heard with Ryan triggered her. And so I'm here for her as we all try and listen and love and respect and also identify what's going on with her. And hopefully teamwork, we can explore it to be able to help her release it and heal it and to be able to share with love, our perspectives and conscious mind opinions about what's going on with everything.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate your kindness and your support big time. Yeah,
Well,
you've brought me a long way, I tell you.
well, obviously
But
not the full climax because we wouldn't be having this conversation. I tried to get you there. No jokes. Um, well,
yes.
I mean, the
Okay.
thing is that I love your honesty. And as soon as you started talking to me about this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the elephant in the room that we haven't discussed at a metaphysical level or even at a conscious mind conversation. So, we're here for it. We're mature adults.
All right. Well, I'll give you the small version.
No, we want it
Yes,
big and hard for you.
no. You're bad. You're bad. Yes, I
Disgusting.
was woke up Valentine's Day here in Canada, and yeah, wasn't quite onto it. I've never really celebrated it. Yeah, hugs and kisses, and we're not into the chocolates and all that commercial crap that goes with it. But anyway, I started listening, settling in, have my coffee, listening to the conversation you had with Ryan, and I could just feel this density, and the conversation with you two was awesome. But and then of course I had to stop what I was doing because I had to, I was interrupted. I have to listen to some dense comment about something. And so yeah, I was just going downhill in that density. So yeah, Valentine's Day, love, sex. Well, it's my relationship's been trying and we've been working at it, and it's been a long time for me. And I think the Valentine's whole thing really set me off in that way. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I'm not sure how to carry this conversation
So
forward.
what I'm feeling in for you is that for a while you've been happy with the status quo of the relationship. It's, you're coping, you're struggling to, you know, we're not living in a Mills and Boon book, right? Like, we're not living in a romantic fantasy. This is real life for us. And what you're recognizing and seeing and feeling for yourself is that the more you grow and the more you heal and the more you recognize you're not only a super gorgeous, attractive human being right here now, you actually deserve love, all the range and levels of love. And yes, 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 we know that there is self love and that kind of is all sweet and fun and, whatever and all physically and emotionally, that is can be a full package deal for many people. But when you're in a relationship that you're trying to heal because you've matured, you can recognize these are lessons that you are providing for each other. You recognize him at a soul level now, and you realize the wedge, the gigantic wedge between two partners. When you suddenly are healed and you can identify this beautiful new empowerment, and you look over at that lover of 50 years or 30 years or whatever and realize, while I was hurt on my journey, I neglected to empower our relationship at the physical level that I want and need. I mean, it takes two to tango. And, now that
Yes.
you're healed, you're wanting to reconnect. I feel like you're so freaking cute with him now that you're almost dating. Like, I want to see you like in short shorts, and I want to see you do like accidental like bend overs or, flirty stuff. I mean, do you and date and court him again. And then, if I was being, my full bossy friend, I would say take him, take you, you force him, not rape, but like basically, you invite him into this invitation of, I have healed myself now. I want to connect in with you. I want to love you, and I want to, do, I don't know, what is it that the cool kids say? Tantric sex?
I have no idea, but
Hand holding is, is dating, and you're wanting to honor him and support him again, because he is, as some people, they don't want to touch their feelings, they don't want to touch their emotions, and they're more focused and comfortable being very afraid of government conspiracies and all that sort of stuff that can be real. But is it really in our bedroom right now when I'm trying to allure you with my
well, and I think that is my issue right now, is because of my journey has gone one way in the spiritual, metaphysical, just lovely, love it, and he's still looping, and I accept it, but it's not a big turn on, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but I know at some point here, I live with this person. I don't want to be roommates for,
Yeah.
till the shift.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And
So
honoring
go ahead.
yourself and empowering yourself. And the thing is that, let's just put out labels here. You're an advanced soul who's awoken to the most highest level of awakening that there is, in my opinion, here now. And so you know it all. You're processing it all. You're also trying to love and heal yourself from the times where you weren't awoken and very reactive, like all of us, very much human in that. And so I don't want you to go into feeling guilty that you have healed yourself. I don't want you to feel guilty when you weren't healing yourself. Celebrate each day as a new opportunity to redevelop and rediscover what Valentine's Day means for you. You see him all the time. The cutest things could be a cup of coffee. And I remember as we were having our last conversation, and they prompted me to tell you that they want you to, without getting caught, because this is the thing, right? They're clever. You have to sow seeds of love and compliments and empowerment without it being too cheesy and obvious. Like, make it real. And it start off small, because if we become too gushy, obviously we want something. We don't want anything from them. We want them to empower themselves. And so we're making them feel good about themselves, or encouraging them with their kindness and their, just being them, because they're so afraid. And so many people who are very, 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 very stressed. A classic sign of someone being abandoned at some point in their life is that they're super clingy, and they're very afraid to lose control of others, because that abandonment nearly destroyed them emotionally. And so they're very sensitive to it. Very sensitive.
And I feel like I may be contributing to that sense still, with withholding, if that's the word I want to use. Yep. I'm not sure.
When we get smothered, when we get smothered, we want to take off the layer of the jersey or the extra blanket or whatever is helicoptering around us, right? Like a beautiful friend who worries about us so much can smother the fuck out of us to make us go, I just can't. I'm having to distance myself. And when we're hurt, we distance ourselves from others as we're trying to empower ourselves through. And so that he loves you, so I don't know anything about him, but I got that sense that he is so terrified of losing you that this is an obsession now. And it's not even about the relationship, just you not being in his life is like basically saying, can you stop breathing? And I'm going to take away your skin. Are you okay with all of that?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't like it when I leave, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And
But
so
he's
because we,
being
yeah. And
so
so
he's
I
been
just,
good.
yeah.
He's been good lately, and even today, like he brought me a treat from the store. I mean, even though he brought me home work to do, but we
Mm-hmm.
did it together, and he put on music, and he even, see, I know we are doing work,
Yeah.
but he's just trying to be so cute, and
And so
and I even thanked him,
celebrating.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, when they do these little things, instead of us being like, well, you did this tiny little thing for me, what about the 17 other chores I've got for you? Like we have to acknowledge the little things that they do because this is part of empowering them and encouraging them. And if we're not noticing the little things that they do for us because we're pissed off about whatever, what energy field and what are we surrounding and nurturing them from? The worst
Oh
fucking
yeah.
thing that we can do as humans is have assumptions of what the other person should be doing for us, and we hold them accountable when they don't provide what we're expecting and demanding from them. We could be cutting out brochures, hinting forever, telling them, we could even tell them what we want from them, but if they don't
Oh, I
meet our
spent
expectations.
I spent many years playing
Mhm.
that game
Yep.
that don't you know me by now? I mean, geez, tell it out over and over and over. And yeah, and there was a lot of guilt, a lot of resentment, and and I've been able to shed a lot. Like
Mm.
it's night and day, and everybody can see it from the
Yeah.
last year and a half, the change in me,
Yeah.
and my daughter has seen the change in her father too, and it's just
Nice.
it's good.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, mom, don't stop.
Hmm.
Like, said
Perfect.
no, yeah, there's no going back,
Yeah.
now that I know what I know, there's no
Hmm.
going back for sure. Who'd
Beautiful.
want to?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I've seen many people do. And it's because, they may have started this journey, learned some lessons, and it kind of, Forrest Gump them to where they are at. But then it wasn't natural routine for them. So many people get certain concepts, but if you add a new label to it, they don't know they don't recognize it's the same thing. So, I'll talk to people about, earthquakes and volcanoes and say, this is a shift for many. And then there may be a flood, and people come freaking out to me like, oh no, this wasn't a volcano or an earthquake, Joe, that you were saying that, they died. It was a flood. So, does that mean they haven't shifted? And, like, it's kind of like you have to really have a bigger, broader perspective of everything and be
Yeah,
able
you
to.
have to realize we're all on a different journey here,
Yeah.
and the events are going to be different
Mhm.
wherever you are and whoever
Yeah,
you are and what you're supposed to be going through. It's all
absolutely.
different. Yeah, for
Tailor
sure.
made. Yeah. And I guess,
Hmm.
when some people want to say we create our own reality, well, yeah, we create our life contract. We create the karmic experiences that went into that life contract. We create our free will choices to have perspectives and to, choose which pajamas we're going to buy and blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, to a certain extent, we can definitely create our own reality. And now that you're healed, and you're with him, you realize this must be a life contract at this point, and you advance yourself. And now it's kind of like
Yes.
this sort of saying, turn around, go back, and see him at his vulnerable state. And instead of reacting to him smothering you, see the root cause of his desperation to have you so close to him because you ground him.
Oh,
He feels like he needs to protect you, but he doesn't realize that you protect him. It's this beautiful balance that we all have with each other, and we don't sort of recognize our role when we are hurt and when we are insecure. We don't see the value that we play in other people's lives, and so we know what we want from everyone else, very much so, because we keep thinking if they could just do this for me or if they just could do that for me. We forget that we're also responsible to play our roles, and when we're sitting there bitter as fuck eating our dry cracker with no flowers on Valentine's Day or whatever, what role are we playing to inspire others to love us when we are salty as, It's very unlovable, and while we are not
Yeah.
able to forgive, we're not able to love others. And this can be very dense, and this is where you start developing some prickly cactuses. This is when we start turning into those cactuses. We start becoming pissed off that we didn't get all of the things that our other friends on fucking Facebook are showing around on, it's bragging, right? It's a self-indulgent brag. What did I get from my lover? And this is kind of, it's triggers the emotions because everyone's trying to up each other. And is that really happiness? If you have a beautiful relationship, does it really need materialistic things to then be plastered all over social media just so you're special and just to make sure other people know you're special?
Yeah, that's never bought into any of that.
I'm just
No.
If
you could see how simple we live here.
Yeah, perfect.
It's great, actually. It's great. I make gifts for Christmas or whatever, and which is the best shit.
Comes from the heart. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always used to love giving people my pottery and stuff, because I know it's, if I'm giving you anything, it's the best one that I have, because I would save all the shit stuff for myself or don't know what to do with it or donate it or whatever, but if I'm gifting you anything that I've made, it's always going to be my very best, in my opinion. And ironically, when when I offered my friends to just go through the studio, just grab whatever you want, it was always interesting because they would grab ones which I was like, that's your favorite? How curious is that? Which is always, interesting. And maybe they didn't, oh my gosh, now I'm realizing that one of my friends did not feel worthy of taking the good piece. Fuck, I missed that. And I didn't see that now, but now when I'm reflecting back on her choices, I knew she liked that piece, but it's like she didn't want to take the best part or the best piece, even though I was like, have it all. I need more space.
But it could be the other way around too, where you're more critical of your work, and somebody like me, I love the imperfections. You know what I mean? So I would probably be drawn to the maybe the worst one in your eyes.
Yeah.
So it can go the other way.
Totally. Yeah.
For sure.
Finding out our motives it's really good, right? And we would have noticed suddenly seeing your husband instead of what I could lazily assume be obviously now your best friend, he was controlling you, girlfriend, he was holding you back, he didn't want you to be your newfound self, he got jealous, like he was sensing your growth, he was sensing you weren't reactive as much. And when you use other people to bounce off your events and frustrations, we give it to everyone, we vent and share and dump all our shit, and we like to see them react in the same way that we feel, just so we're like, okay, cool, that's been transmuted now. I've grounded myself and my shit onto that person because I've just verbalized a whole lot of crap onto them. Now I feel good because now they've got my burdens, now they've got my shit to carry. But when you were not absorbing it and reacting and taking visually his density, you're just, being there, observing him, and you're not reacting. And so he's sort of feeling like, I need to do this dance that we used to do with each other, which was super reactive and, all this sort of stuff. So when we grow, it freaks them out because it's this unwritten contract that we have with each other at a conscious level, where we have our normal routines where I'll feel frustrated and yell at you, and then you go off in a sulk, and then I feel like it's this
fuck normal, yeah, I know it.
Yeah, it's a normal pattern that relationships get into that habit of. But when you start healing, you don't play the game of fighting. You don't.
No.
And that freaks them out, because when you are not passionate, and there are some people that recognize arguments and tense conversation and conflict as a form of love language, because their parents were hot-headed or whatever, and they're really expressive and they're really fiery with their passion, and so it's kind of like they will have a massive argument, it's super explosive, and at the end of the evening it's just it transforms into like really full-on intensive fucking, because it's this really passionate, really way that they communicate with each other, right? Like it's a really full-on, and they have that cycle. And so if they want to have that dynamic. You know, they kind of, this is their form of foreplay. You know, it's get it all out, be fiery as fuck, be aggressively verbalizing everything as intensive as possible. You feel that euphoric release of all that crap you're carrying around from your job or whatever. And then suddenly, let's just go for it. Sorry about that. Let's just make up.
Well, it does sound familiar, unfortunately. Fuck.
Man,
I haven't even thought about that in a long time. Thanks, Joe. Thanks
okay,
for
well,
bringing that up.
I'm just going to remove myself
No.
in your head. Yeah. I guess, yes.
No, it was it, and I think there came a point where I was so used to that routine where it was like, all right, let's just make up. We're done. I'm done with this shit. Like I don't want to argue anymore, and yeah, let's make up and all is good until, but that was me bottling. I was suppressing a lot of shit. So now it's like, yeah, I gotta get back in the game, I guess.
So, and this is a new game, isn't it, that you're going to be playing with him
big time
soon, because it's about the love talk beforehand and the little subtle hints and the compliments and the, all of this love, this healthy love language that not only suggests to him that you love yourself and respect yourself, but you're offering to love and respect him in a full service. I could be dirty all day long. I actually feel quite comfortable with it.
You and your trucker mouth, and
Oh my
I love
God,
truckers.
I'm absolute whore. Yeah, like it's so funny. Anyway, but
well, it's yeah. I lost my train of thought. You go ahead. That's okay.
So what you're learning now that you've healed yourself and now you're here to be, the leader in your relationship is about allowing him to feel safe and protected in the relationship where you can do whatever you want because you are Mrs. Independent now. You're not relying on his permission or his dominance anymore. You see yourself as an equal, but you see your equal companion partner still on his journey to heal himself and to recognize where he needs to heal. And so often with men, because they're so out of touch with their emotions, they don't want to touch their emotions at all. So they start packing on the emotional protection, which is around their belly. Because their gut intuition, their gut emotions needs to be protected hardcore. And so they will just pack it on like little, that's cute. They've got the skinniest little legs and then this gorgeous like muffin top that just, the dad bod. And that's their
nailed
emotions.
it.
Yeah, that's their emotions. And so when they sort of feel like they've got this disproportionate body, the skinny little legs, skinny jeans, the guys can rock the jeans. No problems with the freaking skinny jeans. But when it comes to their tops, their stomachs, their emotional stomachs, because remember when we look at the body as a whole, the back of their bodies, the back of our bodies, this is where our skeletal structure is formed for our protection, right? If there is an accident or something, if we're walking, we try to go into the fetal position and allow our backs to be our protection.
Take the brunt.
Yeah, because all our soft organs are at the front, right? So emotionally, all our organs are emotional responders to what we're holding on to. And so if we have emotions blockages or whatever, it gets placed in different areas in our bodies. If we've been told to shut up, you're stupid, we start shutting down our throats. We don't speak our truths because we can't possibly have clever ideas because we're told to shut up because we're stupid. And so we could just be told that once and we will repeat this in fear because of the embarrassment. When we got told that, we completely emotionally shut down and we literally start going within our own throats and we can't speak our truth. We're afraid. We start quivering when we start feeling like we're talking about my ideas, my feelings, we get nervous and the quiver in the voice comes because we're waiting for there's someone to aggressively tell us to shut up because we're stupid. And so once you start healing from that, then you've got the emotional factors, the women with breasts and even men, if we have a relationship with our children that is so painful or toxic or whatever, we will start trying to remove those connections from our children. And so, the breasts are very symbolic, very symbolic. And if we don't have children, but we want them, that's symbolic. If we have children and they're not angels because they litter around the house and they are not, being kind to their little brother, there's challenges there. And some people will literally try to eat away their connections to their children. I mean, it's the same with the uterus, and it's the same with the stomachs. And all the little organs that go between, are direct representations. If we're bitter and pissed off, there's going to be something to do with kidneys and, the liver, like it's all of these things that go on. So emotionally, if we are not truly in balance and harmony and love life, whatever is holding us back in our bit of resentfulness, it will be somewhere in our organs sitting there eating away. So
yeah.
So anyway,
I'm glad I caught myself when I did.
Yeah.
I was just more joint pain, but I can feel a lot of pain easing up. But yeah, I wonder, is hardworking pain, is there, like, should I be feeling that pain even though I'm like, I just shoveled 4 tons of snow the other day. I'm hurting, but can it be just that, or is there a metaphysical reason behind that too?
Well, does it feel like it's a strength pain where you've gone to the gym? Allegedly, when people go to the gym, allegedly that they get these growth pains because they've worked out, and so they're strengthening new muscles. Do you feel like it's strengthening new muscles, or do you feel like this is an overexertion that you have created because you're so feverish with your 4 tons of snow?
No, I think it's been lack of, it's working the muscles for sure. But I mean, I have an injury, a neck injury that is just not going away. I'm feeling it in my arm now. But anyway, I wondered if my shoveling, it didn't make it any
Tell me
worse,
about
so
the
it didn't
injury.
make it any better.
When did you notice the injury the very first time?
Oh, it was 10 years ago. A wall came down on me and I hurt my neck. Um, Pretty much bent my chin right into my chest. So didn't break anything. I've never broken a bone.
So you've just put out a disc
Oh,
in the top of your
it's
neck.
stretched. Oh,
Uh-huh.
big time. And I'm sure there's big scar tissue there. So neck, looking down constantly, looking up constantly, it just gets so painful. But I do have nerve damage from that onto my left side. My left arm feels the pain.
Put yourself in the 15-minute meditation and you think about those
Yep.
nerves and you say to your subconscious, if this is not a life contract for me to feel this pain, can you remove the consciousness of the nerve damage? Because we can ask for them to remove the conscious pain that we have caused while, we were not healed or
I'm
learning the
asking.
lessons. Yeah. Otherwise,
I've been asking for sure.
Do a session and we can get it done if you want. I'm more than happy to help you with that. Because we haven't had a session
Well,
before.
it's not in the neck, it's in the arm. And but I asked about that today,
but it's flinched. You flinched it, and so it literally is flinched. Your the nerve is the impact is the flinch of the neck, which is causing it. So this is the thing, right? This is a great reminder. Whatever our pain is from an accident, that's usually not the root of the issue. And so the pain is a reaction to the issue, and you try to treat the reaction to the issue. If you jarred your neck, but the pain is felt in your arm, you try to treat the arm, but you don't look at the neck, which is the original source. This is like with husbands or wives or friends that are super clingy. We try to fix and solve the clinginess. We don't go and try to help them heal themselves from the times that they were lost, rejected, or in fear, and which is creating their reaction. So always go to the root of the issue, whatever it is, and explore it in sessions.
Well, that was part of my unpacking today. After I listened to the conversation you had, was starting to think back of my accidents, because Ryan had mentioned, he was being sabotaged. His career was being sabotaged. I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, I wish that on me, because I've had every career probably known to woman and man, and still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But it sparked me, and I thought about accidents I've had, and yeah, I can see where, yeah, wasn't on that path. I shouldn't have been on that path or with that
Well,
person.
can I
And
just
then this accident
can I
was for
ask
sure
you
to slow me down.
can I ask you, when you were doing all these
Yeah.
different jobs, was it with heaps of different people?
Um, what do you mean, like with
Or
different people?
different offices or different situations where you're having to work and deal with other people?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and
Okay.
some were solitary work. Um, yeah, but I did work with a lot of people. Yes, uh, in restaurants and stuff like that, doing
Mm.
in department stores, and
So
yeah,
you did you
and
this is what I would call a nomad light worker who doesn't feel like they have an official career, but you go from one industry to another industry and you've just been of service to everyone. You know, you and your energy field, which is luscious, by the way, you should know that, in a really non-sexual way. But you know, if this needs to encourage and inspire you, you know, own it. Um,
jazz hands. No,
yes.
I appreciate that, because you've sparked memories of working in the restaurant business, and I always made good tips. I always made good tips, and I was always, took pride in every kind of job I've had to do, and tried to make people feel like they're so special. Here's your meal, with a
This is
smile and honesty.
so
And
gorgeous.
so
It's
yeah,
just
you're right. That's
okay.
cool. Thank
And
you for bringing that up.
so the universe has acknowledged and recognized that your pure intentions to just be there, to love people, to make their meal, to make their service really special and meaningful, so they felt seen. The universe is saying to you, yes, and we will reward you with this because you're pure. Like, it's ironic when we want to help people generally because we just give a fuck about the other person with no, with no hidden strings attached. We just deeply care about that soul surrounded, sometimes over surrounded, suffocated with a meat suit, because they're addicted to ice cream or something, allegedly. Like when we actually look at that soul, at that human, at a soul level, and just love the fuck out of them and be whatever we can to the best of our capabilities. This is when because we're focusing on that, right? We're not focusing on the hustle, whatever, the fame, the fortune. I hope they're taking photos of me as selfies so they will always remember me. Like, when we actually truly want to focus on someone else beyond everything else to uplift them, the universe will have our back and pay what we need, not necessarily what we want. Sugar daddy, say goodbye.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. I thought you just said goodbye. No, and I'm starting to experience those rewards for sure.
Well, you always
Yeah,
have
just
been,
out of
but
the
you may not
blue,
have.
things
Yeah,
are happening, and it's like,
and
what? And then I
potentially,
can feel it, like,
yeah.
yes.
And so when you think back about all the times that you were rewarded and recognized for your true compassion for humanitarianism, it may not have been the millions of dollars that you're waiting for or wanting, but people give what they can afford. And some people
Hmm.
give more than they should, and other people can't. But their love and their gratitude for the energy exchange, emotional energy exchange, is beautiful. Like I,
Oh
I
yeah.
I find it obnoxious where practitioners are like, well, I've got to charge money because there's an energy exchange, and I'm like, you're going to put money, which is so live vibrational, really, in some regards, like the service we should be providing for our customers, our clients, you know that's what they call them, customers. We're not, they the people are wanting to be able to channel for themselves, to be empowered. And so when we do a good enough job, we know that that is priceless. You can't put a value dollar on a really good session where a client gets to see the epiphanies and the perspectives that they've been seeking desperately for, to understand why their life has been thus far this way. And a good session is life changing, instantly life changing, because suddenly you see things from a different perspective. That is key. So
Oh, I agree. You're worth it for sure.
totally. Yeah. And I it still is strange that people are not trying to find interns to help those interns and to help themselves. You know, and then people say, oh no, I'm saving up for an expensive practitioner. And I'm like, well, why? You're not really going for the expensive practitioner. You're going to talk to your subconscious and channel your subconscious. And, you know, an intern can get you there. You know, your subconscious is free. You know, sometimes, you know, I want to make a
Well,
joke about giving my
I
subconscious.
I found an intern close, and I was so hopeful, you know, because she was, well, an hour away, but that's close. That's close enough. I'll take it. And it just, yeah, it was like excuses, too many excuses. She's busy, and then it's winter, so can we wait till spring? And I'm like, well, geez,
the shift
you know,
is
we're
coming.
wasting all this time. I don't have a place, and she found a place to rent for me to come to, and yeah, because she doesn't want to drive. And anyway, it was like too many, and I'm like, come on. So that's why I'm taking it upon myself to channel, and I've successfully have tapped in and got some great connections going. And yeah, and I even did that today, after, you know, trying to unpack all this stuff and epiphanies, and just whoa, it was a good metaphysical day, I'm telling you, today, for me, after listening to your conversation. So yeah, I think I have to channel for myself, and it's working great. Getting there. I'm going in a little longer. I'm learning how to record myself. So
Perfect.
Someday I'll have to send that to you, and you can tell me whether it's it's real or not. But I truly feel it is. I mean, the emotional impact after is crazy. It's crazy. I crying and crying. I'm like, holy shit, what is this? You know, oh my God. And the energy and the dry mouth, big time.
Drink more water.
Yep.
Definitely drink more water. If you want to channel, and I recommend this for anyone, you want to be high frequency vibrations and you want to channel and have, you know, more, because they can connect in with us. They can raise our frequency vibrations with all of the fluids really big and really high. And they can lift our energy fields because of the water that's within us. And so, you know, they kind of just, you know, electrical currents with the water, and the water is a conduct or conduit or something. It's really good. It's
yes,
really
well,
good.
I had a couple of times, like I had a bit of a headache after, and right away I could hear or feel, drink more water. You need to drink more water before you do this. You can't just dive into this.
Yeah.
You know, you like, little prep work would be helpful. So I'm learning as I go.
Perfect.
And that's the way it is for me. I got to learn the hard way. I truly feel like that is my soul essence. I love puzzles. I love doing things for myself. I truly feel that is truly who I am.
Yeah. But my friend, you know, that's one perspective. You're doing it the hard way. The other perspective is you're doing it the best way. You know, the best way.
Yes.
Fuck the intern that can't, you know, get their shit together. Why did you do the course in the first place, you silly thing? You know, like, part of me feels like she just wants to do it with some of her friends and kind of get up to the 25 so then she can charge you. But she's also got insecurities. So she's nervous because it didn't quite go well. She thought she could do one of her friends, and her friends was really challenging, and she kind of lost her confidence. Damn.
Well,
Friends will fuck you over like that because you think you know them, and then they get all nervous. And
well, I think like, talking to Nikki, she's like, I said, I think I might be too much for her, because I've already, you know, had a couple of sessions. The first one, the second one, it was great. And then being able to do this, and I know that sensation, that falling under, I'm calling it a drop off. I feel like I'm dropping off. Like when you're just before you're falling asleep, but you're not falling asleep, that feeling, and I can recognize it, and my body's recognizing it quicker and quicker. And it's great. I'm loving being able to do this on my own, for sure. Yeah.
Take the wheel.
So,
Take the wheel.
Yes,
So
yes.
definitely that release, that, you know, dropping off that density, that tension, just going with it and just observing. And,
Mhm,
you know, it can flick on as soon as we do it, you know, flick it on, flick it off.
right.
And, you know, it's all intentional. And I love this. I love this. Well, you know, you could still reach out to the intern, maybe have a
Oh
conversation
yeah.
with her, especially if, you know, she is sort of feeling like she's lost confidence because, you know, we sort of think our friends and family would support us in all of this and encourage us.
Mhm.
And if we haven't been able to, what we would, you know, deem successful sessions with our family and friends, we would not have the confidence to then expose our lack of skill sets or our struggles with strangers.
Hmm. I guess I never thought about that,
Mm.
but
Because when
it's
we,
too bad because I'd be willing to do more with her, like to help,
we'll keep reaching out to
because
her.
I know the more you do it,
Yeah.
you better you get at it as
So
the practitioner and as the client,
yeah. So
for
yeah,
sure.
reach out. I've had these sessions. I love them. I want to support you. If you need more for your internship, I'm here for you. I love you. This is exciting. You know, Dolores Cannon's books are fucking amazing. You know, like
I
reach out,
know.
support her. You know, she probably needs a really good friend, because the worst thing is that you do this thinking, I'm going to create a career out of this. You know, QHHT official have told me that I'm going to make 100,000 K a year. And so, yeah, I'd love to be able to do that. This is where, you know, a lot of people, I have been told, a lot of people have been sold this, that's what they've been
Hmm.
sold. You do this course, it's so easy. You're just going to have so many clients, blah, 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 blah. And they are not being
Uh,
prepared for the truth of how hard these sessions are, to be able to support someone hearing about their tragic lives, truly tragic lives, all their pain, and
yes.
just sit there and love them without wanting to go and find the ex-husband and slap him silly and say, you lost a good woman there. You know, you know, like it's hard not to get emotionally invested in your clients, and you have to listen to them, and you have to not, I mean, I've definitely cried with my clients, you know, and
Oh, I can see that.
but the more I've learned, and so I don't go into the reactions now. I just think, wonder what that life contract's about. Oh, that might be karma. What's that lesson? What's that purpose? What's that significance? I can think clearly through it all now versus reacting to, you know, a miscarriage or a death in the family or the dog had to be put down. Like, all of that stuff, I used to be so fucking sensitive to it, and it would distract me from find out the significance. What's the purpose? Was this a life contract? Whose free will was being breached? What was it? You know, like you sort of have to overgrow that stuff. And people get scared. I definitely did have that moment where I had to push on through when I had to take my first client through a death scene. And I was just like, oh, suddenly, and like they're laying there right in front of you, looking dead, speaking to you, and you're going to take them through a death scene, and it's a bit creepy, you know. And then you sort of, my overactive mind thought, what if they just jumped out at me right now? I think I'll poo my pants, like, you know, like
Oh no.
it was, yeah, because they're very close, you know, like you have so much worry. I certainly did have so much worries and concerns about how these sessions actually work when they're in my home, my kids are upstairs, and the, you know, being burnt alive, and you know they've been tortured, I've had plane crashes, you know, all of the ways to die. And you know, you get over it quite quickly because, you know, happy ever after, they got to live this lifetime again, so yay.
True. Yeah. And the questions, like just knowing how to formulate a question after, you've asked their question and then you're like, oh, you got to dig deeper or whatever. And just to know and
Yeah,
be on, and know what to come up with, like reading, reading a lot of Dolores Cannon and like, yeah, I'm
it's
on
just
number
so
14 right now. And it's addictive.
mm,
I mean, besides your three, the three books that came out, and now I've got to, put Dolores down again because I got to go back to Mastering Human for sure.
mm,
Um, just because it had such a big impact, and then I've gone and kind of, made a lot of notes, and now I
beautiful.
want to go back in, because it's just it's huge. There's so much in it, and it's so well laid out. Yeah, I'm selling it for you. Don't worry.
Well,
It's awesome.
I can't imagine. I think, this is, I think, triggered a few people when they sort of think I'm going to get rich off these books. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I haven't made a cent out of the books, and I can't imagine I actually would see any money from them either. But that was never my motive. My motive
No.
was, they said people need to get this information, and while it's still there free on the internet, people are not able to absorb it. They're not getting it. They're skimming through it. They're distracted while they're doing it, or they're trying to process 17 concepts that they've just thrown at you in the last 4 minutes, and you're trying to, like, unpack it. I feel like they speak way too fast, and all that sort of stuff. And even I find when I'm listening back to it, I just think, slow the fuck down. I'm trying to listen to, I have to pause it. And then if I pause it and process it, there's lots going on here. I can understand why so many people have to listen to it a few times,
Well,
because
I look at the
listening.
transcripts too.
Mhm.
And even then the transcripts are muddled and I'm like,
Oh
what?
my God, the
She
hot and
didn't say
abusive.
that.
Did I say penile or did I say penile?
Well, yeah. So, but the Mastering Old Earth, I read it on my phone. You know how tiny, and I gotta, you know,
Mhm.
zoom in, and read a few lines, and then zoom and like it just, yeah, it was. So I was glad to get the books in my hand for sure. There was no way I could print. I don't have enough ink, and I live too far away from, Staples or whatever place to get that stuff.
Yeah,
So the
Amazon,
books is
even
perfect
though
for me.
Amazon have, people have issues with it, and I understand, but for the service, it's great, to be able to
Yeah,
get the books.
I'm grateful for that, their purpose in getting those books right to my back door, and I'm running out. Thank you. No, it's good.
Do
It's
you
all
remember
good.
that session where they were talking about the trees that have been specially selected to be able to hold the energy frequency for the books?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so intensive.
Um, yeah. My memory is there's another thing. Oh.
Only focus
But
on what you're supposed to. So when people, like, I
that's
remember,
right.
yeah, quite a few people messaging me recently again saying, is this bad? What is happening? My memory's shot. And I say, awesome, just focus on what you can. Because, the
Yeah.
time, we can hold, if you're not processing all the stuff that we are supposed to, we're still holding on to people's conversations and arguments we had 27 years ago. That's not helping us today to forgive them, love them, and move forward and empower
No.
ourselves. So it's perfect. But the
Yeah.
more we have grown to focus on what we're supposed to focus on, the more we'll get our memories back.
And yeah, I've actually noticing that while listening to music today with the hubby, 70s music of all things. And I'm singing the words, and I'm like, how come I know the words to these songs and I can't remember my own daughter's birth, which was 23 years ago? I mean, what
Yeah.
the hell is that all about?
Yeah. See,
But
singing
anyway.
songs for me would be the same as me trying to transcript for YouTube. I they may not be the official words, but I'm feeling it all. I'm loving the energy of it all. Oh my
For
goodness.
sure.
Okay.
So about the trees, I just finished that finish that conversation. I want to hear.
So when I was doing that session where the trees were showing, well, I was being shown that there are special trees that were holding higher frequency, that they were already predestined to give their physical embodiments, their version of meat suits, their
Yes.
fiber suits, to us in all the books. And they have that energy frequency. So it's not only, and so then I saw, and like I thought this is really like ridiculous, because I don't see angels or Arcturians as, these beings with the big wings behind them and stuff. But
Right.
I did for this, like for this, they showed me, and it was just like this printing machine, this big sort of elaborate printing machine press thing, and it was just these big angel masculine beings with their big wings, like embracing the entire machine. It was so beautiful because I could feel the energy of Gaia being infused in with these trees, which were also being part of the support for us. for knowledge and wisdom. And it's like, this is where the owls come in as well, because the owls live in the trees and they provide the above higher wisdom for all, that they look down upon us, and it's a positive thing. And fuck those people that say, oh, it's all in the symbols. If you use such and such square, such and such spiral, that means you're a pedophile, like blah, blah, blah. Get over that, guys. That is really limited perspectives now. If you want to go back to the history of spirals and squares and circles and stuff, go back before all of this, because you're still trying to find corruption and manipulation and dark agendas. And we know that they're there. Accept it. What are you going to do with the information? How are you going to grow maturely out of that fear base of shit happening to humanity? Because shit happening to humanity is part of their life contracts. We have to respect all life contracts, even the crazy ones where we think that's distasteful.
Yeah. Well, this is part of my daily vocabulary. Is it's all purposeful, honey. It's all for a reason. Yeah. It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. But remember, what is his biggest fear? He's vulnerable. He feels so vulnerable, and he is scared, and his inner child is fucking terrified. And so this is why he is afraid, and he's looking for every single symbol warning to alert him, because he wants to feel justified why he is feeling within his body fucking terrified. And so this is real.
He denies.
This is
if asked, he'll deny it.
Yeah. Because you don't want to acknowledge the root of the issue. No. It's not my neck, it's my arm. Like it's not my children's relationships I'm trying to sever. It's my breasts. Like, people don't want to look at the emotional root of our physical behaviors and reactions, whether it's injuries and diseases that we're creating for ourselves or something else. So
it's not fear, it's just an observation. I mean, okay, sure. Yeah, totally. Sure, you can call it that.
Totally. Want, but we can justify
you observed
things.
A lot.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I do know it's a fine line between observating and judging, because the thing is, when you observate something that's really shitty, really bad, you're aware of it. And it feels like you're judging someone because you are aware that this is pushing your moral compass. And, their choices, whatever, they've got to pay those karmic experiences, lessons back. But as we know, the karmic cycle is complete for many. You can't come back here to be able to play it out. Yeah, you can go to other 3D lives, but for the majority, it's finished. It's done. Your karmic cycles, all of the lessons you wanted to experience on Earth are complete. So what do you do with that? Do you stay here and support others because you've learned and you remember that you've learned how to master this? Or do you shift?
Yeah. Apparently I'm not shifting, but I'm going somewhere. Yay. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another thing with when Ryan was talking about the stars. It was just so, it was like I thought, am I related to this person? Like we're having the same sort of, the stars for sure. My father introduced me to that, and I miss looking up at the sky. It's been a couple of years, but I love the constellations. So I know there's something here. There's something there for me. Just got to look find the right direction to look.
Yeah. And when we know that we're advanced souls who've had many different experiences before, and we're here to support others, especially other collectives. I mean, I know that people love the labels of saying that there's monsters and the evil devil, and reptilians are bad and all this sort of stuff. I mean, that feels like a distraction, but it does bother me still. Spiritual awakened people still wanting to judge others because of a collective. It's kind of, it's so immature at this point to judge. Every contract is unique and special. Doesn't matter what collective you're teaching or guiding or showing. And I've been labeled recently a reptilian sympathizer. And it's like, well, okay, I'm supposed to love all. You know, Jesus is supposed to love all. We're all supposed to love all. You know, we're all one. Why would I want to suddenly start hating the cousin just because, you know, what they eat meat? Well, when I ask them, have you always been a vegetarian? Have you always been a vegan? Those people that hate reptilians because they eat, I say, oh, have you always been a vegan? And then they say, what? Why would you ask me that? What's got that got
Right.
to do with it? The reptilians eat human children. And I say, oh, have you never eaten chicken? Because chickens are, you know, cousins of the reptilians. I know it's kind of, you know, being pathetic and, you know, but they don't want to look at their own behaviors. And then, you know, they say, oh, well, you know, I did eat meat, but, you know, I'm a vegan for 27 hours, 2 minutes, and, you know, I'm reformed. And I say, cool, well, I forgive you. And, you know, everyone else can forgive you when you didn't know better. What about the reptilians? What are they supposed to eat? Because there are, like, you know, you talk about like zoo animals and stuff, or, you know, animals in the wild, and like that's fine, they're allowed to eat whatever they want, but we're allowed to judge. It's really interesting. I don't know if I've discovered this, or just I don't know if I've discussed it, I should say, but I want to explore more the reason why that they are still killing dolphins. And I have a feeling it is because of certain beings that like to eat dolphin that humans can't eat it. You know, I don't know why that just popped into my head again. Higher
Yeah,
frequency.
I don't know anything about that.
It feels like higher frequency energy beings wanting to give their memory, their muscle memory, to a collective that is struggling the most. Struggling to be
Interesting.
honored, struggle to be empowered. Well, you know, like, you know how, you know, some of us say that we're the black sheep of the family, right? Because you know, I haven't chosen the trendy vaccinations recently, I haven't chosen the right, you know, politicians recently, you know, I like to recycle, you know, I'm the devil. You know, some family members, you know, feel like the black sheep of the family because they do different things from the other families. I mean, the reptilians could feel like they are, you know, that black
The
sheep,
black,
you know,
for
because all
sure.
of these beautiful advanced souls come in here in their human meat suits to be in terror and afraid of them. And yes, I would imagine if you did see a reptilian eating humans, you would probably be a bit scared. Absolutely.
But is there two different things here, two different ideas of what the reptilians are?
Mhm.
Like, has that information been skewed? Like, I'm asking you,
So yeah,
are we looking at two different things? I mean, the reptilian
there's
collective.
physical
eh,
beings that look like dinosaurs that are softer, non-aggressive, very docile, and they are like, you know, they are a reptilian dinosaur cousin that's, you know, within inner earth, and, you know, not
Oh,
that far
okay.
away from the surface. Then you have some more aggressive ones that definitely love their big, so they've got, you know, they live deep down, and they are, you know, they've got quite severe hierarchy. And, you know, they breed, they have their own children, they want to protect their own. You know, this is quite big numbers of those, and they're all around the world, all around the
Oh,
places. And so, you know, they do what they do, just like humans do what humans do. And then there is those souls who are in human bodies, which is a huge leap for them. So there are embodied reptilians, and it could be just one aspect of that minivan. Who knows, right? Like, you just, you know, unless you're getting talked to about one person and explore all of that, you don't quite know. You know, and I don't want to sort of like label a brand, but I do know
yeah, yeah.
there is, you know, there's some influences that, you know, are spiritual and, you know, beloved by many, and they are, when we ask about their agenda and what collective they're guided by, we get told repetitively, doesn't matter what client we use, we get told that they're reptilian. Okay, and so these are channelers. These channelers talk about the new earth and that it's here, and, you know, they talk about a whole lot of sort of stuff. You know, there is you know, there's two that I'm thinking of right now, a male and a female. They don't channel together, they channel differently, but they do talk about different collectives and a whole lot of stuff, but they really are supporting their own collective, and that's fine. You know, there are
Hmm.
as you know, as you know, like humanity, all beings here have got a collective consciousness, just like all, say, guided Arcturians. They all tap into the same collective consciousness. So, you know, there is many subgroups that we are all able to get access, connections, and communication with, right? So I would imagine someone who is a reptilian starseed would only be able to tap into their collective's information and the best of their ability, the conscious collective of humanity. And
Right.
so it is like when you're asking a reptilian in a question about the shift to New Earth, what does that look like? They just say it's just an expansion of consciousness here, because
Right.
that is the best that they can do here. That's what they recognize the shift would be. But they will, they will have abrupt exit points like everyone else, depending on their location. And when you ask them what's their next lifetime going to be, it's another physical 3D planet. And so,
Right.
that's a telltale time for anyone that's listening to sessions. If you're going to have another physical lifetime on another physical planet, or they don't recognize it's a different planet, so they think it's Earth. So they will get, oh, it's another, oh, wow, this lifetime I'm going to be a princess, unicorn, fairy dust person. Woohoo! Whatever.
Well, thank you for enlightening me.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was there
Today.
was confusion about it. Well, obviously confusion about it, but I thought it was taking what the collective, and then it was just got run rampant of all these different ideas of what's going on. But now I have a better idea. I can see.
Yeah, so I think when we don't label the collectives, it gets a bit confusing. But when we say all of the collectives are learning different experiences for their collectives evolution growth, you could say that there's different spectrums. And so I would sort of say the reptilians are still trying to manage being in humanoid bodies and actually living without living in independent careers and not being in a nest, in a hot, like whatever it is. This they're very so living as humans for a reptilian is very advanced, very advanced. And so they've got all the experiences, but they needed to have sort of what we could consider more of the naughty experiences to learn from, so then they can kind of evolve quicker. So it's very significant and purposeful, and we're supposed to be here holding space for understanding it all, trying to inspire them. And that's why there's many people in all industries from all collectives trying to inspire them to find their moral compass and to be honest and earnest with the humanity's best interests for good. But when you know that there is something that may not be good, but you're just getting an extra second holiday home, like how you selling yourself and your humanity out for money. This gets so convoluted. But anyway, sorry.
Wow. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. Holy.
But it's good.
Okay.
And this is why I keep saying to people, if you follow someone, ask in your session just what their agenda is. Because if you don't want to do any more sessions and you don't want to think independently for yourself and you don't want to channel, but you want to just keep blindly listening to someone, channel for yourself, who is this collective from? Because sometimes we think, what's up with that person? Where are they getting this information from? And often it can be, that's their human ego speaking, or that's because they're connected deeply to the reptilian collective, or whatever. Again, we don't need to judge them. We just want to understand. And I think that's really helpful. And I'm still helping clients.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I had some stepping stones there too, where it just didn't resonate with me. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know anything about that at the time, about different collectives and stuff like that. I just knew that this just wasn't for me. And I gotta go somewhere else. Thank you for getting me this far. I need to go a little further somewhere else. And that was the way I looked at it. And it worked out for me. But now that I've learned a lot more, I can look back and say, oh yeah, that's why it didn't resonate with me. Okay.
Good. Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm still grateful for that stepping stone anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
My only sort of concern with stepping stones that may not be empowering us is that we get deeply disempowered because we think something's wrong with us because it doesn't resonate. So then there must be something wrong. Like, why is my intuition not what they're saying? How come I'm like, I know I was speaking to this channel. I was speaking to this channeler the other day, and she was saying that there is this other channeler that she's called like her guru or her influencer or her teacher or something like that, her master or sensei or something. Anyway, and I just said, okay, knowing what I've heard about that, her whatever influencer, knowing we've already discussed him many times through many clients because clients want to explore who's going on. And so this channeler who can channel is putting this other channel up at a really high standard. And I said, what do you do when you get information that conflicts with his information? Because his information is, we're not going anywhere. You save yourselves and, you just man up and expand consciously and that's it, And I just asked her what, and she said, oh, that's, that's when she thinks that basically was implying that's when she thinks like dark agenda comes into her sessions because she wants to she's expecting to get the same information from him, the same level of information. And I'm like, stop following that influencer, go and channel yourself and keep asking your own teams the information.
Right.
Stop, see, like if you can channel, then go within more and more and more and more and more and stop comparing. Because if you're thinking someone's super fancy, super advanced, and they're still talking about the shift being here, there's no physical shift here, and everyone's in your like crystal body is already on Facebook. I mean, bro, maybe. But they don't realize, because when you love someone and that you've been taught potentially how to channel from them or with them, and you've done all their courses and you've got their t-shirts, how could you ever imagine that a channeler could be limited when you see them channel? Their arms are waving around in the air and they look super hippie-ish. They must be authentic, and you assume they must be getting the most advanced information. But when people start belittling themselves and editing and limiting themselves because a channeler said the shift to the new earth is just here in your mindset, and it's just
yes,
changing a perspective of all one and love yourself. I mean,
yeah,
that's
well, I had that moment for myself too. I thinking, why I'm supposed to have all these crystals, I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing that. I don't what's going on?
Yeah.
Am I not spiritual? And then it dawned on me, I thought, no, this can't be the way it has to go. It can't be this complicated. It can't,
no,
it's got to be easier than this,
totally.
and yeah, sure, shit. Yeah, it's easy. All right. Yeah. Learning to love yourself and all of that just sort of, whew. I mean, it sounds easy, but it isn't easy, but it is. It makes so much sense, and I can see it in myself. So much has fallen into place just from learning to accept myself, love myself, and then the empowerment comes in, and the confidence, and all that.
Beautiful,
yummy stuff. Yeah, and then I see the ripple. So it is easier. It doesn't have to be that complicated. You gotta have your fingers this way, and you gotta have these crystals lined up, and you gotta, no.
I remember someone seeing my channeling and they're like, oh yeah, no, she's dark agenda because she didn't do this protection thing before she channeled. Right. She just opened herself up like a crazy person to any fucking thing to channel. And and it's like, because she sells this video whatever to protect yourself, so the monsters can't get you while you're channeling, and she's like, she's never shown herself channel ever, allegedly. There's lots of people that listen to her and just despise her, but they just can't stop watching. They're addicted to her bullshit. Entertainment. Yeah, and so they kind of just want to see her fail. It's interesting. I mean, it's kind of, it's a hobby. Yeah, it's so interesting. So yeah, me doing me is fine. But I certainly don't try to tell other people to do that. You guys know how to empower yourselves, and I found doing sessions great to help me understand how to connect in. I certainly did that, and I can only share my journey. I do sound really judgmental to these disinformation fakers, only because when I hear through my sessions, the subconscious with their great concerns about what it's doing to my clients, because
Right.
they lost faith in themselves, because they believed the bullshit that this, influencer was selling them. And the kind of, I mean, I know it's all purposeful and blah, 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 and have acceptance, blah, 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 blah. I get that. But my client has been empowered today. What about all the hundreds of thousands of other people that are still buying the bullshit from others? And again, that's their own journey and stuff. But we keep asking that they get publicly exposed for those who are not empowering humanity. And, our guides will do tremendous things to us if we're off path. Tremendous, really, really scary, tremendous things. And, of
Yes.
course, if those vulnerable victims then want to label it something else, and they won't realize that it's their team slapping them sideways.
Yep. Yep. I got a few of those, that's for sure. And I've had close calls and going, ooh, that could have been bad. And, now I look at it and I think, thank you. Yep. Thanks. Thanks for saving my ass there. Cause could have been nasty, but it wasn't meant to be, obviously.
Yeah.
That's,
and that's just, I mean, so true. I've heard so many people have they can't understand that near-death experience where they're like, I think I'm a walk-in or a walk-out because I should have died with that and I didn't. What the hell happened? And then it's like the team's, the subconscious is like, you're welcome. Because we just dropped our focus. We got distracted on our phone and driving or something. And it wasn't our life contract. As much as we think, I'd love to just have an exit point now, we cannot see the impact of us shifting and how that ripple effect could actually disempower or shortchange other people's life contracts with us.
Yep. I agree. I can see that for sure. I mean, I'm feeling the ripple effects of my own, journey and others around me. And to cut that short would be, quite a ripoff for them, I think.
But what I love about, no, it's fine. Yeah, this is true though. It's true. We've got to be responsible. And of course, many people try to kill themselves and they can't, and they don't know why, and it pisses them off. Then they have a walkout. And then, you hear in sessions they want to come back in. And the subconscious says no. Their soul, that fraction of their souls too immature, too hurt, to doing too much damage, because when we're not healed, while we're supposed to empower others and we're still bitter and salty over shit, are we really the best versions of ourselves for ourselves and others? So but what I wanted to say about you is that, what clicked for you where you suddenly thought, fuck this way of my perspectives of life now is not what I deserve. I know this for myself. Was there a moment where you were just like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take this fucking seriously. I'm actually going to put in the effort. I'm just going to do this. And boy, did you do it well. I mean, you've done it fucking amazingly. You're very impressive. But was there a moment?
Well, the moment was sitting outside while I had my daily beer, my daily cigarettes, and my daily misery. And I'm seeing my cousin post stuff, truth and then spiritual. And I thought I was at the end. Moments of, ending it was there. And I thought, no, I got to reach out. And as soon as I met up with her and she introduced me to this, it has been work since then. And that was August 30th, 21. And I've been working on it ever since then. And it's every day something, reading. I quit smoking 2 weeks after I met her, quit drinking. I've quit doing stupid distracted stuff, games and whatever. And I really just dove into this. And then it was only about a month ago I realized, I do love myself. And look at this, look at me go, It was, so it's been the work and trying so many different things and introducing myself to, different people and books and whatever. And Dolores, right away, that was it. Biggest fan. Sorry, Joe. I'm her biggest fan. Hello. Have you not heard? I'm her biggest fan.
That's why we get on so well. Yeah, because we deeply respect Dolores. Because I mean, imagine the skeptics she would have had. Imagine the trolls. We know more about her personal life as she comes into many sessions and shares with us her experiences, just to make it more understandable that what she went through and what other people are going through is normal, with this, with this role and with this responsibility. Like, she's a great help.
Big time. And even reading her books, I'm seeing her growth through it too. And
that's what pisses
like,
her off.
Oh my God.
That's what pisses her off, when people are quoting her when she's like in her still growing phase, and she kept referring it to, like, you're looking at my high school journey and still trying to tell the world that I was in love with so and so, and that was just a summer fling. She's like, she's kind of, she understands where they're coming from, but she's like, if you can't see my full journey, my personal dear diary of this work is the summary of those books. And she is raw, she is real, she is an investigator for us all, and she has considered everything that we want to know. She has considered how we could doubt her. She's considered everything just to be able to help us on our journey. Everything she did was for us.
Oh, beautiful. I know. And I read, and then I'll say, okay, tomorrow some more, but I'll be reading it and I'll go, oh, Dolores, and then the next page I read the next day, she's questioning herself too and saying, answer, and it's like, oh, you're just beautiful. This is awesome. I just love this journey with her and her growth and my growth, and watching everybody else around me too. And my husband quit drinking for the last couple of days too, so it's kind of neat.
When you start healing the heart, you're not trying to get a release from the alcohol buzz, and so
escape.
Yeah, well,
it was an escape.
You're trying to release the pericardium. So when you have alcohol, it sort of relaxes that tension around the heart physically. And so, there's much to be said about why people use alcohol, emotional and all this stuff. What I wanted to say about Dolores is that she felt there was this incredible strength that somehow was being given to her, and she didn't know where it was coming from. And that was her drive. She felt like it was forward, and it was like she just needed to keep doing maybe 1 or 2 more sessions, and there was this energy, this strength that she felt that was just beyond her reach, almost around the next corner. And she said that was her big drive, was this energy, this really intensive energy that she thought it might have been knowledge. Like there might have been some big key that could have just been around the corner, but she could feel this energy that was coming towards her. And she just felt like it was just almost out of her touch, but she just knew it was coming. And she just said, as she was going through it, she just felt like it was just getting more and more stronger and stronger and stronger energy. And what she realized when she was looking back in her life review, it's the love and respect that we all have on her journey. So when we're reading her books and we're sending her love at that moment, that's us. And she could feel our love during her living days when she was working for us to give us this information so we could empower ourselves to awaken.
How fucking beautiful is that? Yeah. Sorry, gotta wipe the tears from my eyes.
But our love and the way she could feel the ripple out effect. She was that big pond, she was that rock, and that first big wave that ripples out. She could feel that energy, but she thought that energy was coming towards her. She didn't realize she was the driving force of that energy rippling out.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. It's awesome. Well, I'm certainly glad to be a part of all of this and her books. Yeah, it's awesome. Fuck. Sorry.
So beautiful. All one. Yeah. Very cool. Favorite conversations to have in concept. So okay, well, we'll go and we'll start doing the other session for humanity, because we're of service now.
right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Only if you have time. Anyway, we better start. I'll stop this
Yes.
recording. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you get some sexy time going on for yourselves or with others. You know, love is love, and we love you.
Yeah, love you too.